Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures on what is a very windy day here on the allotment. So this introduction may be swift. What do newspapers and green tomatoes have in common? Well, we have an answer from a viewer, so I'll let you know in a moment or two all about this. But I'm afraid my poor old-fashioned bee house has finally had its day. Well, sit back, relax, put your feet up, I hope you've got your cuppa ready, and enjoy today's show. Well, here I am inside the polytunnel amongst my tomatoes, and they are turning red. But why are they turning red? Is it because I've stopped watering them, or is it because we've had quite a few warm days this last week? And in this polytunnel, it is like a little microclimate, and so are they just going red because of the warm days? It's difficult to tell. Anyway, excuse me, let's go to Rotherham, to Teresa in Rotherham, and she sent a text in, so thank you very much, about how her family used to ripen tomatoes. And what they did is they would get some newspaper, like thus, and then they would just wrap the tomatoes in the newspaper. Now obviously they're not very big, I've only got two there. Wrap them up in the newspaper, and place this onto a windowsill. Now, possibly because this works like a brown paper bag, it must allow moisture and air in and out, so it's not a plastic bag. Maybe that's the beauty of it. Keeps them in the dark, and the warmth from the sun on the windowsill will obviously help them to go red. It could take quite a while though. We do have another method, and I'll talk about that in a short while. Now, it started raining outside, never mind. Now, unfortunately, look here, this is what's happened. My very old, actually, I didn't buy this. This was thrown over the wall some years ago. But what I have got, of course, are the pieces that are left. And so I'm going to have a go at remaking this. I have some plywood. I've got all the pieces. So I'm going to have a go. Now what's fascinating is some of these are held together by, believe it or not, spider's webs. And they're really, really strong. Now this here has got some mud in it. There you go. So that's obviously from a mud bee, and they love to collect bees. There's all different. There's leaves in here and all sorts of things. So what I'm going to try and do is rebuild this and get it back onto the wall, because they preferred this one rather than my new fancy spangled one. Maybe, just maybe, because the holes are bigger in this than they are in the new one. Interesting, isn't it? So yes, a project for me over the next coming days or weeks, depending on how much time I've got. Right then, better go and look at the other tomatoes to see how they're getting on. Well, I've just been into my shed. Do you remember I hung the tomato plant upside down? And well, I think it's working. I think they are slowly turning, although you can't really tell. Well, I know what, I'll show you a photograph. So this is the first one, and these are the ones at the top that are actually going a darker colour, not green obviously. And then these are the ones on the other bunch that are actually green. So they've not done anything yet. But I do think that the one has changed colour already. In fact, what we need to do is get the old photograph and have a look at that. That seems logical to me. And then we can see whether we agree or not. Because at this present time, I can't remember, to tell you the truth. I'm rubbish at this experiment malarkey, aren't I? I need to do my research better. I'm on the floor again. If you could see me from a different position, it's not very comfortable. However, I've noticed here, can you see all these little dots here? Look, you probably can't see me, but I'm not bothered. All these little dots. There's hundreds of them. Well, here's a picture. They're mushrooms. Not sure what sort of mushrooms, but it's really, really damp here. I've got my pathway here, and of course it's the wood chip off the trees. Remember we had the trees taken down, one of the trees taken down, so it was dangerous. And so it's been that damp recently that, well, I've got mushrooms growing. They're lovely too. They're all brown in different variations of, but they are amazing things. I better leave those for the little fairies. What do you think? At the bottom of the garden, eh? Magical. Well, it's still very windy outside, so I've popped inside my old greenhouse for the moment, and just looking at my lettuces here, they're looking really, really well and really good. Checking all the leaves. Now, unfortunately, this one here in this corner looks like it's been attacked by something, but I can't see any trails. There's no, so I'll have to keep an eye on this and keep an eye on these particularly, because of course these are individual lettuces, whereas over here you can just about see that's cut and grow lettuce, so that's doing really well too. So fingers crossed we don't get any more things eating our lettuce. Now, let's go back talking all things tomatoes, shall we? I've got another suggestion from another viewer, Angeline, from Angeline Grows, and thank you for your suggestion. Apparently what Angeline does, she pops her tomatoes in with her fruit in her fruit bowl, and that helps to ripen her tomatoes. So isn't it fantastic with all these different methods? I wonder if they actually work. Obviously Angeline and Teresa think theirs work, but I don't know about mine. I've just been into the old shed and well, I found the photograph. I'm not sure whether they've gone green, red, whatever they're doing. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, shall we take a look? So here is a photograph from last week, and here is the photograph from today. Not quite sure whether they've gone coloured, whether they've gone even greener than they were before. It's very difficult to tell. Experiments sometimes take a long time, and sometimes actually the results aren't what we want. But we're going to stick at it and see if any of these methods actually work. I don't know. I'd never make a scientist, would I? Well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures, and it's great to have you all on board. Thank you very much for your comments. I really do enjoy getting them, and I know the viewers love hearing about what you're doing. So if you're still growing things or you're sowing seeds, I bought some more seeds the other day, so I've now got cabbages and some more tomatoes for next year, and squash. I'm going to have a go at growing butternut squash next year. That's my challenge for next year. What's your challenge? Do you have one? And well, I've picked a real tiny little cucumber here. Look, it's off my outdoor cucumber plants, which are inside this greenhouse frame. They've just been outside to the elements, but they've done really, really well. I've had quite a few cucumbers off, and they really are nice and tasty. Not as many off as the ones inside, of course, but then again, there's more heat inside the polytunnel, and I've really enjoyed that. This, oops, is going to go to my little rabbit. She's going to love that. And well, I have an old sunflower here, and I've just left it out because I've wanted the just put that off. I've wanted the birds to come and get the seeds, but they don't seem to be doing that, so I might have to do that for them, because in here, if I can get a few out, just rub that like that. There you go. And I've got 1, 2 seeds for next year, 3 seeds. But obviously this will just fall into ground, and these will self-germinate for the next season. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Ta-ra for now.